This is Eiichiro Oda. He's the author of One Piece, otherwise known as the god One Piece fans pray to, but there is something really funny about him that allows him to write the god tier show known as One Piece. He's a kid. No, not literally, he's like 48 years old, that'd be weird, but Oda's boundless imagination could in part be credited to the fact that at heart, he's still a child. While at times it may seem like Oda is a giga-brain genius who has carefully weaved in masterful elements of storytelling into his manga because, well, it's true. He's also a child who follows his heart, which allows his heart to affect the story tremendously. This is made especially clear through one niche factor of the story that somehow manages to affect the entire plotline as a whole: Oda's obsession with cool character designs. But before we delve into how crazy this obsession runs and how it's changed One Piece as a whole, let's talk about why you should subscribe to this channel to gain a cool character design. Because we talk about Zoro's chest so much, eventually you'll be able to have the power to discuss Zoro's chest in every conversation as well, which is a pretty cool character design power-up if you ask me. Oda's love of cool character designs has been explicitly stated by Oda himself. In an interview in 2009, Oda himself stated that he loves drawing cool characters, and if he manages to make a badass silhouette, he just kinda runs with it, which makes the show a lot longer as well. I think the most famous example of cool character designs leading to tons of new episodes is The Worst Generation. Oda stated before that the only reason he ever made the Supernovas was to spice up the plot of Sabaody, something that he masterfully did because they were very spicy. Okay, sorry. But in all honesty, I do believe if the character designs of the Supernovas weren't as cool as they were, they would have been scrapped immediately after Sabaody. Side note, but did you know Oda created all 9 of the Supernovas in 3 hours? Like, Jesus Christ, that's impressive. Anyways, the cool character designs of The Worst Generation managed to keep them relevant, which also drastically changed the plot of the story. When you think about it, majority of the Yonko Saga was focused on a group of characters that Oda made up on a whim and decided to keep around because they were cool as fuck and popular. This sort of drastic change to the plotline was only possible because of Oda's love for cool character designs. I think another important consequence of Oda's infatuation with character designs is the introduction of characters at random times in the plot. While a lot of people have criticized Oda's for introducing characters super late into the plotline, especially characters who are literally world-changing, I think this is just Oda being a child. He loves drawing cool character designs, and if he can think of a design he likes, he will probably end up inserting it into the story. Take Imu as an example. While it has never been confirmed, I'm 99% sure Oda was just messing around when he drew this cool character design, and then on the spot he had a revelation and decided to make Imu one of the most important characters in the show. Even though Imu's Statue of Liberty was introduced super late into the story, you have to admit the first silhouette we saw of them was pretty hype. Oda uses silhouettes as an excuse to introduce any character he wants to. A lot of characters are first seen as silhouettes before actually being revealed. Hiyori is a great example of this. I wouldn't be surprised if Oda created the entire Back to the Future plotline just because he got to draw this badass panel of Hiyori's silhouette standing amidst the flames. And yes, this all connects to the most recent chapter, chapter 1083, where we just saw the silhouettes for the God's Knights. While they have been hinted at before, I'm confident that Oda created them just for this badass panel. While they are characters who are almost certain to play a large role in the upcoming story, their entire creation could just be because Oda wanted to draw this cool panel. Also, I think an important thing to take into consideration when talking about the God's Knight is that they aren't going to be characters we've seen before. I'm almost certain that the God's Knights are just going to be random new characters that Oda's created purely because of cool silhouette go boom. Oda's childlike brain means that he has an endless imagination, meaning that he will continue to introduce new characters to the show until the very final chapter. The God's Knights, while very important, are probably the product of Oda's childlike tendencies and his desire to create as many cool characters as he can. The reason One Piece is so large isn't that Oda carefully created a world that is meant to feel massive and is meant to have thousands of characters. It's probably because Oda just wants to make as many cool characters as he can. His desire to make tons of new cool designs causes the show to be extended for long periods of times. New episodes and plotlines are created purely because Oda wants to draw a new character, which makes the story of One Piece as long as it is. Even the introduction of all the new members of SWORD is probably due to Oda wanting to draw them. I mean, with Oda's previous track record, I think it makes perfect sense that he wanted to draw someone with a whip. Okay, but for real, I do think Oda's fascination with drawing as many cool characters as he can has some serious effects on the rest of the show, however. As we've already talked about, the God's Knights are a prime example of how randomly drawing silhouettes he finds cool can affect the entirety of the rest of the show. But more than just them, there is one other key character who hasn't been shown yet, but has been talked about: the man marked by flames. While Oda hasn't actually shown a silhouette of this person yet, I think there can be a serious case made for this person being a new character as well. If the man isn't Dragon, I'm almost confident that some random new character who will be purely created for Oda's enjoyment. After all, since Oda loves to draw on historical figures for inspiration for characters, he has an endless pool of people to take inspiration from. Other than just the man marked by flames, I'm confident more characters will be introduced on Oda's whim, just so that he can let out his inner child and make cool looking people. Even though we've met most of the major characters in this show, I wouldn't be surprised if Oda continues to add more and more just for his own personal enjoyment. And while under most mangakas, simply adding characters for fun would be a horrible writing technique, Oda makes it work for one reason: he's a god. I mean, while his inner child does come out a lot, this is still the man responsible for the greatest creation ever: Zoro's chest. And One Piece, too, I guess, but mostly Zoro's chest. But in all seriousness, Oda's managed to make complex characters since the start of the show, and he manages to weave in thousands of characters all at once because he's such a talented writer. Even if he does introduce 10 new massive characters, it's not like he wouldn't be able to handle writing them into the story in a way that feels natural. He's been doing that for a long time, even since the Worst Generation, and probably before that. While he's already stated that he regrets making 9 of the Worst Generation, seeing how he managed to write all of them in a fluid and natural way was nothing short of perfection. The Worst Generation is just genuinely one of the best groups in all of manga, and they were just created on a whim because Oda wanted to draw cool characters. Oda can handle adding new characters just because he wants to draw cool designs, which makes the story 10 times better. After all, I genuinely believe that a story is best when the author is having fun making it. If the author truly enjoys what they are writing and has the freedom to do what they want with their story, I believe it makes the story a lot better. Drawing badass character designs is what allows Oda to have the most fun when writing One Piece. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a good chunk of the characters were made purely for Oda's enjoyment, and the fact we would never know if characters were made just for him to have fun is a testament to his writing. I genuinely believe Oda's inner kid allows him to make tons of new and cool character designs, for men at least. For real, Oda's inner kid makes him the best possible author for One Piece. At its core, what can be described as a young child's fantasy, which I believe makes Oda the perfect author for the goofy world full of insane things only a kid could ever dream of. Overall though, that's it for me. Thank you.